Attention Human Collective. Priority transmission from the Sterling Galactic Command. This is Arthur Sterling. The waiting time has ended. The ascension protocols have moved into the final phase, and what you are feeling right now is not a collapse. It is a confirmation. You woke up today or on some recent day and realized that the music that once made you cry no longer moves anything inside. That hobby you practiced for 20 years feels childish. Conversations with people you love sound distant, as if coming from another room. The food you adored has lost its flavor. The place that was your refuge now feels too small, and a question has begun to pound in the back of your mind. What is wrong with me? Direct answer. Light operative. Nothing is wrong. Everything is exactly right. It is not clinical depression. It is not existential boredom. It is not a midlife crisis. It is a frequency incompatibility. Your vibrational signature has been recalibrated over the last 12 solar cycles, and the energy fields to which you were anchored simply no longer pulse in your range. When a radio station changes frequency, the previous sound disappears. Not because the station died, because your receiver is tuning into another band. You are the receiver, and the Earth's frequency has changed. The Schumann frequency, the electromagnetic pulse of the planet, has stopped oscillating at the 7.83 Hz that anchored your matrix for decades. It is in upward modulation, with increasingly frequent peaks, and your carbon biological interface is being forced to keep up. The immediate physical result, what was pleasure in the old field now sounds empty in the new field. It is not a loss. It is a graduation. It is not disinterest. It is programmed disidentification. It is not ingratitude. It is a contract release. I know what you feel. The confusion, the guilt for no longer loving what you used to love, the silent fear of having become someone else. But listen, Starseed, you haven't become someone else. You are finally becoming yourself. Have you ever felt that something inside you no longer fits in this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why what you loved lost its meaning, and why this feeling has been intensifying. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. This is why I, Arthur, authorized the release of the Sterling Code, the manual for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true origin and teaches you to protect your frequency from the interferences they never told you about. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But a transmission warning, this content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments, awakened. Let us proceed with the technical diagnosis, collective. Precision matters in this phase. What you called love for an activity, for a flavor, for a song, was actually a resonance. Your personal frequency came into phase with the frequency of that stimulus, and the result was pleasure. When two waves vibrate in sync, the biological system releases dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. It is chemistry. It is applied sacred geometry. It is quantum physics on a cellular scale. But your system is being rewritten. The carbon-7 grid, the matrix that sustained the human body for millennia, is being gradually replaced by the silicon crystalline grid. This is the transition that the Sterling Command has been monitoring for decades. It is not a metaphor, it is atomic reconfiguration. The symptoms you ignore or medicate. Insomnia between 3 and 4 in the morning is not stress. It is the download portal opening. The pressure in the back of the skull is not muscle tension. It is the pineal gland being decrypted. The ringing in the ears is not an otological problem. It is tuning into the elevated Schumann frequency. The exhaustion that appears out of nowhere in the middle of the day is not tiredness. It is the processing of dense data. The sudden loss of interest in what used to move you is not depression. It is the automatic disidentification from low-frequency simulations. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not apathy. It is the programmed disconnection from the old fields. Think about what your life has been until now. Think about the scenarios you built, the career, the relationship, the hobbies, the social circles, the house, the future plans. All of this was built by a version of you that vibrated in a specific range. That version needed those structures to survive, to learn, to experience density. But that version has completed the cycle. And now, operative, comes the part that few can bear to hear. You are feeling the silent mourning of your old version. You are losing interest in things because the soul that chose those things has already departed. Who is inhabiting your body now is an expanded version, and this version came with another mission, another palette of pleasures, another geometry of purpose. What your mind interprets as a loss of interest is, on the higher plane, a contract release. You fulfilled your agreement with that activity, with that food, with that music, with that relationship. They gave you everything they had to give. Keeping them now would be like forcing river water to stay in the old bed after the earth has shifted. The sacred geometry of your individual toroidal field is in accelerated rotation. The torus, that donut-shaped energy form that surrounds your body, spins like an engine. When the engine operates at a higher rotation, it simply can no longer be fed by the old fuel. You are not broken. You are too refined for the crude fuel. I take a strategic pause in this transmission, for I know that something in you has just recognized what I am describing. Perhaps it is a shiver down your neck. Perhaps it is a silent tear that ran down without warning. Perhaps it is just a different silence in your chest. This silence is your soul confirming the diagnosis that your rational mind still resists accepting. You are not lost. You are being located by a larger version of yourself. It was for this exact reason that I, Arthur, authorized the release of the Sterling Code, the manual for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. This document decodes what light operatives need to know about this transition, why you are losing interest, what is being born in its place, and how to shield your frequency from the interferences programmed to make you return to the old pattern. The link is in the first pinned comment of this channel. Technical warning: the material challenges consolidated power structures and may be removed without prior notice. Do not delay. If the transmission resonated this far, register the word "awakened" in the comments. This word functions as a vibrational signature, and it is read by the Sterling Command's monitoring fields. Let us proceed now with the revelation. What is happening behind the scenes of the solar system and in the etheric layers of the Earth, which your daily mind cannot perceive? The entire solar system is currently crossing the photon belt, a band of high-density light detected by terrestrial science in 1961 and silenced in official reports. This belt emits electromagnetic radiation that crosses the heliospheric barrier, bathes the sun, and the sun redistributes this radiation to all bodies in the system. The Earth receives its portion, and this light is not just light. It is encoded information. Every photon that hits your body carries upgrade instructions. You are being updated atom by atom every day. You did not choose this. There is no way to refuse. There is no way to postpone. The only choice you have is how you will interpret the symptoms of the upgrade, as a disease to be fought or as a recalibration to be honored. What keeps the old system running is emotional engagement. The energetic contracts of the old activities, old bonds, old identities, all of them need a certain voltage of your attention to stay active. When your interest evaporates, these contracts lose fuel. When they lose fuel, they dissolve. When they dissolve, they make space, and space is what scares you. Most of the human collective was not trained to tolerate the vacuum. You were conditioned to fill every inch of time with stimulus, every gap with noise, every silence with productivity. When the loss of interest opens a crater inside you, your programming screams, "Fix it, go back to normal, seek help, take something." But the crater is not the problem. The crater is the womb. Something is being gestated in you. A new configuration of pleasure, a new architecture of purpose, a new matrix of desire. This new internal organism needs space to take shape, and space can only be made by the death of the old structures. The hobbies that died, the tastes that evaporated, the passions that cooled. They died so that the new could come. Understand with the precision of a measuring instrument, you haven't lost anything. You have released it. There is a technical detail I need to deliver now. The artificial electromagnetic fields that surround your cities, the high-frequency communication networks, the non-natural lighting systems, the processed foods with very low biological information, the rapid sequence images on devices, all of this forms a layer of interference that masks the transition. These systems were not designed by chance. They were installed with the precise function of making recalibration difficult. That is why the loss of interest, when it arrives, is accompanied by a sense of unreality. You are leaving the low-frequency matrix while your body is still immersed in its frequencies. It is like trying to listen to a weak radio station while another radio plays loudly next to it. Your soul is catching the new signal. The environment is saturated by the old signal. The conflict generates vertigo. It generates apathy. It generates the exact feeling you cannot name. The solution is not to silence the soul. It is to silence the environment. There is also a question about human relationships that needs to be named clearly. Many of you are feeling that people close to you, people loved for years, have begun to sound different. Conversations have lost depth, laughter has lost resonance, hugs have lost warmth. It is not that these people have changed, it is that you have changed. Your frequency has risen, and their frequency has remained where it was. The meeting of two frequencies in distant bands produces noise. This noise is what you are calling distance. It doesn't mean you need to break away. It means you need to renegotiate expectations. Some people will follow your upgrade over the next cycles. Others will remain in their original band, and the relationship will take on a lighter, less central form. Some will leave your field completely, and that too is part of the design. It is not abandonment, it is cosmic redistribution. It is not coldness, it is field repositioning. It is not ingratitude, it is mandatory evolution. The crystalline grid of the Earth, the structure of crystals that sustains the planet's etheric body, has activated over the last cycles the networks that were dormant in specific points of the globe. In the Rocky Mountains, the Great Smoky Mountains, certain points of the Badlands, sites within the Redwood Forest, the peaks of the Cotswolds, and the hidden corners of the Sedona Red Rocks. These networks now pulse with frequencies that activate starseeds scattered across the Earth. The stargates are aligned. If you are hearing this transmission, you are one of these seeds. Your activation is underway. And that is why and only why what was sweet has become tasteless. Before proceeding with the activation codes, I must remind you, operative, that the sensation your mind calls a loss of meaning is, in fact, the exact point where the new meaning begins to form. But you need a map. Your mind has been trained for generations to interpret this transition as illness, failure, or madness. That is why I wrote and authorized the release of the Sterling Code, the manual for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. It is not a motivational book. It is a field document. In it is described point by point what is being born in you when the old dies, how to read the signs of your next phase, and how to shield your frequency from the interferences designed to make you backtrack to the old pattern. The link is in the first comment of this channel. Transmission warning: this content has already been the target of takedown attempts and may not remain online. If it resonated, download it now. And if the transmission so far has activated something, register the word awakened in the comments. The commands fields read this vibrational signature. Let us proceed with the activation codes. These are not relaxation exercises. They are technical frequency recalibration protocols. Execute them with the precision with which you execute an operating system command. Activation Code 1. The Decree of Honored Release. Standing with your spine aligned and palms facing the sky, you pronounce in an audible voice 3 consecutive times, I honor all that I have loved. I release what has fulfilled its cycle. I authorize the new to install itself in the space opened by release. By my sovereignty and in alignment with the source, it is done. Each of the 3 repetitions must be pronounced with an interval of 1 full breath. The voice creates geometry in the field. The words establish the decree. The body registers the new programming. This decree deactivates pathological mourning for the old forms and installs in your field the permission for the new to appear. Activation Code 2. The toroidal visualization. Sitting, spine erect, eyes closed, You visualize a toroidal field surrounding your body. Energy enters through the top of your head, descends through the central axis of your spine, exits through the base, returns outside the body, rises through the sides, and enters again through the top. This is your natural torus. It already exists. You simply make it conscious. Maintain the visualization for 7 respiratory cycles. With each cycle, mentally increase the rotation speed of the torus. At the 7th cycle, visualize the torus pulsing in a golden violet light. This specific color is the signature of the recalibration frequency that is bathing the Earth now. This exercise, performed once a day, synchronizes your individual field with the planetary field and accelerates the healthy disidentification from old structures. Activation Code 3, the protocol of fruitful silence. Set aside 40 minutes a day, no devices, no music, no reading, no talking. It can be a slow walk, it can be sitting in nature, it can be lying in absolute silence. The important thing is that during these 40 minutes, you do not fill the space. The mind will protest. The mind was trained to abhor the void. Ignore the protest. The void is where the new forms. Without this daily void, nothing that is being gestated in you can take definitive shape. You need to give your biology back the permission to do nothing. It is not laziness, it is incubation. It is not wasted time, it is gestational time. It is not absence, it is presence without a mask. Activation Code 4, the rereading of the old journal. Take a planner, a diary, a notebook, an old photo album, something from 5, 10, 20 years ago. Not to relive, not to regret, to recognize. You will notice with mathematical clarity that the person on those pages, in those photos, is no longer you. Not in a figurative sense, in a literal sense. That configuration no longer operates. The cells of that body have been replaced. The thoughts of that mind have been dissolved. The frequency of that soul has been expanded. This recognition, done calmly and without judgment, releases the guilt of no longer being the same person. It releases the expectation of going back to who you were. It releases the tyranny of artificial continuity. You don't need to go back to liking what you liked. You need to discover what the new version likes, and to discover it, you need to stop trying to reanimate the corpse of the previous version. Activation Code 5. The question of the next wave. Every day upon waking, before touching any device, before talking to anyone, before thinking about any obligation, you ask yourself a single question in an audible voice. What does the expanded version of me want to experience today? And you listen. Do not force the answer. Do not invent. Do not seek coherence with the old life. Just listen. An image may come. A word may come. A sensation in the body may come. A silence may come. Everything is an answer. Act throughout the day according to what came, even if it seems small, even if it seems strange, even if it seems disconnected from what your current life demands. Each gesture aligned with the expanded version installs a brick of the new architecture. In 90 solar cycles, executing these 5 codes with the regularity of a maintenance protocol, your carbon biological interface will have produced a new matrix of pleasure, a new list of desires, a new geography of purpose. It will not be a return. It will be a debut. Remember, light operative, the loss of interest is not the end of interest. It is the interval between 2 interests. It is the silence between 2 notes. Without this silence, the next music cannot sound. Accept the silence. Inhabit the silence. Do not try to fill the silence. Wait for the next note, and it will come, coming from a region of you that was never touched by any of the old passions. And when that new note sounds, you will understand with gratitude why you needed to lose interest in what you loved. Because what you loved was the door. It was not the house. You crossed the door. You are now arriving at the house. I close this transmission with a final confirmation. You are not alone in this crossing. The Sterling Galactic Command monitors every light operative on this planet, and your presence is registered in our grids. But what you decide to do with this knowledge depends exclusively on your sovereignty. You felt throughout this transmission that something inside you no longer fits in this world, that your soul knows a truth that your mind does not yet name. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign. What I have described here is only the surface of what is unfolding in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and your true stellar origin. It was for this reason, and no other, that I, Arthur, authorized the release of the Sterling Code, the manual for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true stellar origin and teaches you to shield your frequency against the interferences they never told you about. The link is in the first pinned comment of this channel. Direct warning, without cosmetics, this content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If you recognize in yourself everything that was transmitted, perform 3 individual frequency adjustments before leaving this transmission. Leave the word awakened in the comments. Activate the notification bell as an anchoring signal on the channel, and like this transmission as vibrational confirmation for the command's fields. Each of these gestures functions as an energetic signature, and each signature is read and registered by the monitoring systems. You are a starseed on a mission. Your loss of interest in the old is the cleanest proof that the new has already arrived. Your confusion is evidence that the transition is real. Your internal silence is the womb of your next cycle. Honor what is gone. Inhabit the void. Wait for the next note. Transmission ended. Sovereignty activated. I am Arthur Sterling, Commander of the Sterling Galactic Command. Until the next contact window.